Chapter 1: A New Beginning. Sarah Bennett had always been a high-powered executive in New York City. Her life was filled with long hours, high stress, and little time for herself. But after a particularly brutal year, she found herself at a breaking point. Her job, once a source of pride and accomplishment, had become a relentless grind. She needed a change, a drastic one. On a whim, Sarah booked a ticket to Tuscany. She had always dreamed of visiting Italy, and the thought of the rolling hills, vineyards, and warm sun seemed like the perfect antidote to her stress-filled life. With a sense of excitement and trepidation, she packed her bags and boarded a plane, leaving behind the chaos of the city. When she arrived in Tuscany, Sarah was immediately struck by the beauty of the landscape. The golden fields, cypress trees, and charming stone houses seemed like something out of a dream. She rented a small villa in a quaint village and decided to spend the next few months rediscovering herself. The first few days were blissful. Sarah spent her mornings sipping espresso at a local cafe, her afternoons exploring the countryside, and her evenings enjoying the simple pleasure of a glass of wine under the stars. She felt a sense of peace and contentment she hadn't known in years. One afternoon, as she wandered through a local market, Sarah found herself drawn to a stall selling fresh produce and homemade goods. The vendor, a handsome man with dark hair and a warm smile, greeted her in Italian. "Buongiorno. Would you like to try some of our fresh olives?" he asked, holding out a small bowl. Sarah smiled and took a few olives, savoring their rich flavor. "Delicious," she said. "Thank you." "I'm Luca," the man said, extending his hand. "And you are?" "Sarah," she replied, shaking his hand. "Nice to meet you, Luca." Luca's eyes twinkled with curiosity. "What brings you to our village, Sarah?" "I'm here for a break," she explained. "I needed to get away from the city and find some peace." Luca nodded, understanding. Tuscany has a way of healing the soul. I hope you find what you're looking for. Chapter 2: A Growing Friendship. Over the next few weeks, Sarah and Luca ran into each other frequently. Luca owned a vineyard and olive grove just outside the village, and he often invited Sarah to join him for tours and tastings. She found herself drawn to his easygoing nature and deep connection to the land. One sunny afternoon, Luca invited Sarah to his vineyard for a picnic. They sat under the shade of an ancient olive tree, enjoying fresh bread, cheese, and wine. The conversation flowed easily, and Sarah felt a warmth and comfort in Luca's presence that she hadn't felt in a long time. "Tell me about your life in New York," Luca said, pouring them both another glass of wine. Sarah sighed, taking a sip of the rich red liquid. "It's fast-paced and demanding. I've worked hard to get where I am, but lately, it's been too much. I needed to get away and figure out what I really want." Luca nodded, listening intently. "It's important to take time for yourself. Sometimes, stepping away from everything is the only way to see things clearly." Sarah smiled, appreciating his wisdom. "What about you, Luca? Have you always lived here?" "Yes," he replied, looking out over the vineyard. "This land has been in my family for generations. I love it here. The work is hard, but it's fulfilling. There's something special about working with your hands and seeing the fruits of your labor. Sarah felt a pang of envy. I wish I could say the same. My job feels like it's consuming me, and I don't know how to stop it. Luca reached out and took her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. You'll find your way, Sarah. Sometimes, it just takes a little time and distance. Chapter 3: A Spark Ignites. As the days turned into weeks, Sarah and Luca's friendship deepened. They spent countless hours together, exploring the countryside, cooking meals, and sharing stories. Sarah found herself opening up to Luca in ways she hadn't with anyone else. She felt a growing attraction to him, but she was hesitant to act on it. After all, her time in Tuscany was temporary, and she didn't want to complicate things. One evening, after a particularly beautiful day exploring a nearby town, Luca invited Sarah to join him for dinner at his villa. He cooked a delicious meal of homemade pasta, fresh vegetables, and grilled fish. They ate on the terrace, the soft glow of candlelight creating a romantic ambience. As they finished their meal, Luca stood and held out his hand. Dance with me? Sarah hesitated for a moment, then took his hand. They moved to the sound of soft music playing in the background, their bodies swaying together under the stars. Sarah felt a sense of closeness and intimacy that she hadn't experienced in years. As the song ended, Luca leaned in and kissed her gently. Sarah's heart raced as she kissed him back, feeling a rush of emotions. She pulled away, looking into his eyes. Luca, I don't know if I'm ready for this, she admitted, her voice trembling. Luca nodded, his eyes filled with understanding. It's okay, Sarah. We can take things one step at a time. I just want you to know how I feel. Sarah smiled, grateful for his patience and understanding. Thank you, Luca. Let's see where this journey takes us. Chapter 4: Embracing Change. In the weeks that followed, Sarah and Luca's relationship blossomed. They spent their days working side by side in the vineyard, harvesting grapes and olives, and their evenings enjoying quiet moments together. Sarah felt a sense of fulfillment and happiness she hadn't known in years. One morning, as they sat together on the terrace, Luca handed Sarah a small envelope. I have something for you, he said, his eyes twinkling with excitement. Sarah opened the envelope to find a letter from the local art gallery. They were inviting her to showcase her photography in an upcoming exhibition. I submitted some of your photos to the gallery, Luca explained. I thought it might be a good opportunity for you. Tears of gratitude filled Sarah's eyes. Luca, I don't know what to say. This means so much to me. You have a talent, Sarah, Luca said, taking her hand. And I want the world to see it. Sarah felt a surge of confidence and excitement. She had always loved photography, but her busy life in New York had left little time for her creative passions. Now, she had the chance to share her work with others. As the date of the exhibition approached, Sarah threw herself into her photography, capturing the beauty of Tuscany through her lens. She felt a renewed sense of purpose and joy, her creative spirit reignited. Chapter 5: A New Path. The night of the exhibition was a success. The gallery was filled with people admiring Sarah's photographs, and she received countless compliments and words of encouragement. Luca stood by her side, his pride and support unwavering. As the evening came to a close, Sarah felt a sense of clarity. She realized that her time in Tuscany had changed her in ways she hadn't expected. She no longer felt the same pull toward her old life in New York. Instead, she felt a deep connection to Tuscany, to the land, and to Luca. Later that night, as they walked hand in hand through the village, Sarah turned to Luca. "I've made a decision," she said, her voice steady. "I want to stay here in Tuscany. I want to build a life with you." Luca's eyes filled with joy and relief. "Sarah, I was hoping you'd say that. I can't imagine my life without you." Sarah smiled, her heart full. "I can't imagine my life without you either." They embraced, their hearts aligned in their shared vision for the future. Sarah knew that the journey ahead wouldn't always be easy, but she felt ready to face whatever challenges came their way. Chapter 6: Building a Future. With her decision made, Sarah began to lay down roots in Tuscany. She and Luca worked together to expand the vineyard, planting new vines and exploring new winemaking techniques. Sarah also continued her photography, capturing the changing seasons and the beauty of everyday life in the countryside. Their love grew stronger with each passing day. They faced challenges and setbacks, but their bond remained unbreakable. They supported each other through the highs and lows, finding strength in their partnership. One day, as they stood together on a hill overlooking the vineyard, Luca turned to Sarah, his eyes filled with love. "Sarah, there's something I've been wanting to ask you." Sarah's heart raced as Luca got down on one knee and pulled out a small velvet box. "Will you marry me?" Tears of joy filled Sarah's eyes as she nodded. "Yes, Luca. 1,000 times yes." They celebrated their engagement with friends and family, their love and happiness shining bright. The wedding was a beautiful celebration of their journey together, held in the vineyard under the Tuscan sun. Chapter 7: A Lifetime of Love. Sarah and Luca's life together was filled with love, laughter, and adventure. They traveled the world, explored new cultures, and shared their passions with others. But no matter where their journeys took them, Tuscany was always their home. They built a thriving business together, their vineyard becoming renowned for its exceptional wines. They also gave back to the community, supporting local artists and initiatives that celebrated the beauty and heritage of Tuscany. Their love story became an inspiration to those around them, a testament to the power of following one's heart and embracing change. They faced each day with gratitude and joy, knowing that they had found something truly special in each other. As they grew old together, Sarah and Luca continued to find joy in the simple pleasures of life. They walked through the vineyard hand in hand, their love growing deeper with each passing year. One evening, as they sat on the terrace, watching the sun set over the hills, Sarah turned to Luca. "I never imagined my life would turn out this way," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "But I wouldn't change a thing." Luca smiled, his eyes filled with love. "Neither would I, Sarah. Neither would I." And as they watched the sun dip below the horizon, they knew that their love story was far from over. It was a story that would continue to inspire and be remembered, a testament to the beauty of following one's heart and embracing the magic of Tuscany. The end.